the answer to what is information is whatever the state says. And the answer to what is disinformation is also whatever the state says.
Yes.
That's the problem.
It is a select all that apply, but with only one option.
Welcome to another episode of the Carpe Fide podcast, where if the shoe fits, you wear it.
And if the truth hurts, you bear it.
I am Justin Gruber.
And I am Jesse Gruber.
And today we hope you will seize the faith. Welcome to another episode of the Carpe Fide podcast. This is episode 96. 96, baby. It's totally rad. Just FYI, Jesse, I don't know if you're aware of this, but we mentioned Beast Wars the other day. Did you know that Michael Bay is directing a Beast Wars Transformers?
Yep.
I didn't.
I'm pretty sure I sent you the... I didn't send you the trailer?
No, you did not.
Oh.
How cool is that?
Super cool.
Anyway, soon you will all be able to understand why we mentioned Beast Wars from the 90s.
I don't know. No, you need to go back and click on the nightmare fuel that is now the Beast Wars CGI.
It's so scary.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah, go back and watch original Beast Wars sparingly so that you don't also melt your brain at the same time.
You know what? Those were the coolest toys, though.
Rat Pack, Optimus Primal.
That was Rat Trap.
Rat Trap.
Cheetor. Pterosaur Terrorize.
Pterosaur Terrorize. It's so classic. All right, enough of this. Episode 96 is entitled...
Rhinox.
Yes, Rhinox.
Rhinox was cool.
Yep. Episode 96 is entitled Miss Education.
Yes.
Not like Miss America.
No.
Or rather...
Definitely not Miss Universe, because that's owned by a tranny.
Which is okay to say because you're abbreviating the word.
I'm making it shorter.
Yeah, so it's okay.
Yeah.
As long as you make it shorter. Yeah. Yes, a transsexual owns Miss Universe. I don't know, like, who duped him into buying it in the first place? Like, is that a thing now? Do people don't feel like it's a great investment?
I love how there was like two girls that were like clapping, and then the other one's just like, what universe am I in?
Is this a spinoff from the Marvel Universe?
Am I being punked? Is this an SNL skit?
No. I love how he was like, I'm a woman. It's like, oh, we can hear you, sir. You're talking into a microphone. We can all hear what you're saying. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. This is miseducation, as in to educate poorly and confusedly. So this will all make sense as we go through it. We have several articles. There's so many. This is a fraction of what's coming out. Boy, oh boy.
Stuff's been going pretty downhill pretty quickly.
Hide your kids. Hide your kids, everybody.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
This is not good. We're going to stick, first two stories, we're going to stay firmly in New Jersey, which is our home state.
Yay.
In the New Jersey, which has its no shortage, apparently, of issues with education.
Boo.
Yeah.
But we knew that.
Well, yeah, that's true. Neither of our kids, thankfully, are attending a public education system in New Jersey, and we would just strongly encourage anyone in New Jersey to not let their child be a part of the public education system.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yep. My my son was literally assigned in fourth grade a story in literature that had God having an assistant because he needed an assistant, and making judgments on people and their issues and their sins.
What? In public school?
Oh, yeah, in public school. And,
that's weird.
Yeah, it was, apart from being grossly sacrilegious, it was completely heretical. Yeah, so anyway, I'm just encouraging everybody, just walk it back, everybody. Walk it back. So, Governor Murphy has decided to do a stupid thing, so I guess it's another day that ends in Y.
Yes.
You know, in Vietnam, when you would arrive in Vietnam, and I'm not comparing this to Vietnam, certainly not, but the phrase they would use is they would tell you, welcome to the suck. And that is pretty much what governance in New Jersey is like. But there's a lot, well, not a lot, but there's less dying. He has decided to basically...
Not in the nursing homes.
I said not a lot less, but there is less dying. I can say a lot less.
Slightly less dying.
Yes. All right, the title of the headline is New Jersey schools to teach children how to avoid disinformation in the name of democracy and civic discourse.
Do you know what the difference between a Vietnamese soldier and a New Jersey citizen is?
I don't know, Jesse, what?
New Jersey citizens can't defend themselves.
Oh. Also, New Jersey citizens aren't communists, so.
Neither were the Vietnamese soldiers.
The Viet Cong?
Oh, no, I was just thinking American soldiers in Vietnam.
Oh, then they're not Vietnamese soldiers, dude. We can't do this, Jesse. This is not. Again, the title of the article is New Jersey schools to teach children. Stop talking. Stop talking. New Jersey schools to teach children how to avoid disinformation, quote unquote disinformation, in the name of democracy, quote unquote, and quote unquote civic discourse. Oh, thank heavens. The schools, the government schools are going to teach our children how to avoid disinformation.
If this doesn't sound like something from 1984, it's because you haven't read 1984.
I'm going to try to paint the broad strokes. Basically, there will be a website under the headings of disinformation that will be overseen by the New Jersey branch of Homeland Security, where educators can report
quote unquote
quote unquote educators can report instances of disinformation in the classroom. Now, if you're thinking, what does that mean? I'm here to tell you, I have no idea. I don't know what that means at all. But I can sure take a couple of guesses.
Yep. Governor Murphy said, Our democracy remains under sustained attack through the proliferation of disinformation that is eroding the role of truth in our political and civic discourse. It is our responsibility to ensure our nation's future leaders are equipped with the tools necessary to identify fact from fiction.
Boy, is it. Look, the only president New Jersey's ever turned out was Woodrow Wilson, and he was undoubtedly in the top 3 of worst presidents in the history of America.
Yeah. We don't, never mind.
So,
well, so I made a brief list of some facts. See, when you start talking about whether or not, when you start saying that the state schools are going to be teaching what is proper information and what is disinformation, they're basically going to tell you that the mainstream media on the left-leaning side is correct, and that everything that's actually true is probably a lie. And just to highlight how wrong our state gets things, I did make a list.
What this means is that the answer to what is information is whatever the state says, and the answer to what is disinformation is also whatever the state says.
Yes,
that's the problem.
It is a select all that apply, but with only one option.
Correct.
What? So here's some facts that Phil Murphy gets wrong. Sending sick elderly people back into their nursing homes. That would be...
Yep, let's not forget that, because it's not been that long.
It has not been that long. Never mind. I'm not going to get too personal with it. That raising taxes somehow puts more money into the middle and lower classes' pockets. That's another interesting one.
Yes. No. Stop taking my money, please.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. That taxing gas was a good idea.
And by taxing gas, we mean increasing the already existing tax on gas.
Nothing like an extra gas tax. That not distributing billions in federal aid is a good idea.
Yes, that's correct. Where did all this extra money come from? Oh, I don't know. That was from the federal government.
Yeah.
And what's it doing here in this closet? I don't know.
It's kind of like that time they found all those millions of dollars in Joel Osteen's bathroom over down there at that whatever place he...
I just thought these were what I was supposed to wipe my bottom with. I remember that Jabez once said in his prayer. All right, enough. Also, he says
that the unemployed can earn a living wage on the taxpayer's expense is a good idea.
Yeah. Now, I know you're confused. You heard the terms unemployed and earn at the same time. And that does seem like it might be slightly contradictory. And that's because it is. Yes.
Even the people that don't work deserve a living wage.
Where does he get that from? Oh wait, that's right. The second thing we said, that raising the taxes.
Yes. Those taxes that we raised, that's where all of that money's coming from. We have, if you look at the scales, we have between the third and fifth highest unemployment benefit payouts in the nation. And honestly, I'm surprised we're not higher on the list.
Well, when you have a giant state like, California that can pay out all that money because they make all that money.
Right. Well, they've got a GDP of
like the eighth highest
of
most countries. If it was a country, it was like the eighth highest. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. I was reading somewhere, and I was trying to find.
It's going down. Just to be clear, they are hemorrhaging money.
Nice. Yeah, and I did read somewhere, but I couldn't find the article for this recording. But I did read somewhere that a family of 4 with 2 unemployed parents, if they collected all of the benefits, the max benefits, in every category that they could receive, the total of those benefits would equal over $100,000 like a year, which is pretty disgusting. That's a lot of money. Here's another one that that he gets wrong: that boys can be girls and girls can be boys. Oops. Well, you know what? Hold on. I can do this. 1 second. You know what Mr. Rogers has to say about this, right? Do you know?
Oh, I do. I've seen that super clip.
Oh yeah.
Are fancy on the outside. Some are fancy on the inside. Everybody's fancy. Everybody's fine. Your body's fancy. So is mine. Boys are boys from the beginning. Girls are girls right from the start. Everybody's fancy. Everybody's fine. Your body's fancy. So is mine. I think you're a special person.
Wow.
Boy,
that didn't
Mr.
age
Rogers.
well.
No, it's actually aged perfectly fine.
You know why? Because it's a timeless truth.
That's why it's still good.
Only boys can be the daddies. You know what? One day you little girl are going to grow up to be a lady. I just love it. I love all of it. I love the whole thing.
I love how it's right from the beginning, right from the start.
Yep. Oh man, everybody's fancy. Love it. Yeah, here's another one. That sexual perversion is what true love and liberty looks like.
Oh.
Just be yourself, man, or woman, or both,
or neither.
Or neither. You could be a kitty.
Also things Phil Murphy gets wrong. That South Jersey is not worth caring about.
That's a big wrong.
Yes.
I don't think he's ever been down here.
Yes. It's like we're like the border for we're like what the border is to Joe Biden. South Jersey is to he drives through like one part of it and considers that, they clean it up for him. So it's like
that interview with Kamala Harris where she's like, I've been to the border. And Peter Dees is like, well, but you haven't. No, I've been to the border. When have you been to the border? We've been to the border.
Well, like I've been to I haven't been to Europe either. That's not the question.
That was the stupidest exchange I've ever heard an adult make in a very long time.
Other things he gets wrong. That state-sponsored fact-checking will be neutral in their analysis. Yeah.
Yep.
Finally, that the government has the right to shut churches down for potential threats. Or even real threats. Or for any reason whatsoever.
Yes.
As if it wasn't the First Amendment in our Bill of Rights. First Amendment of the Constitution. The Bill of Rights. It's just right there.
Yes. So, judging on these things that Phil Murphy gets clearly wrong, I don't really think that his administration has any really good things to say in terms of, what to teach our kids about disinformation.
The real concern comes in this way. As as the FBI had been tasked earlier this year, and we have no reason to believe that for some reason it ceased any of these investigations. It was investigating the potential terrorist threats from parents at school board meetings. Just as that is incredibly disturbing, you have to be disturbed when the state is now going to be in charge of what is mis or dis or actual information, and then they're going to have a reporting system that is connected to Homeland Security. That will report on what a child that comes in and says that God is real and that he says it's not okay for me to be the opposite gender. And then what's that going to mean? Is that supposed to like trigger something in Homeland Security to show up at the parents' house or remove the child from their homes? Like everybody says, oh yeah, people are always trying to scare you that they're going to take your kids away. And I'm like, they already do. They already take them away for 9 hours every day and pump their heads full of whatever crap they want to shove down there. They're already doing that. All we're doing is taking it just a little further. I mean, there's stories throughout the country where it doesn't matter if a parent says, I would prefer it if you would not call my child a girl, and yet they call them girls nonetheless when the parent isn't around. Like at some point we have to be honest with the fact that in other countries, in this country, parents are losing their rights to their children simply because they will not provide what our culture calls, quote unquote, affirmative care. It's ridiculous. Do not let your child go to a public school in New Jersey especially if you espouse any views that do not include you dyeing your hair blue and spouting off ridiculous nonsense. Because if you do that, fine, go ahead, send your kids to public schools. There's no difference. They're just affirming your belief structure. But if you believe in things like God's word is the objective source of all morality, then definitely don't send your kids to public schools. Because if they accidentally say that out loud, they're going to be reported for disinformation.
Right. Or things like boys are boys from the beginning.
Yeah, if they start singing Mr. Rogers, you're done. You're done for.
And you know what I think is the real tragedy here, Kermit?
No, Mr. President, what do you think?
You know what I would want to do to these school boards that are persecuting the parents? I want to do what I did to al-Baghdadi. I want to crush them.
Yeah, well.
You know, we have military personnel that could.
Okay, that's enough. If that wasn't hilarious, this next story is not hilarious. Let me say this in the right order.
Sometimes there's just no good way to say.
But there is irony in the fact that shortly after we discovered that there would be a disinformation board enacted in our public school systems that educators could then report disinformation on.
Arbiters of truth they are.
Yes, we got shortly after that we got this story. A New Jersey art teacher was charged after allegedly overdosing in her classroom.
His. I think it was him.
His. No, it was his. You're right.
Boys are boys from...
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. I apologize.
That's okay, Justin.
There's a place in Westfield, New Jersey. It's a real place in New Jersey, and this was a real classroom. And it's real sad. It's not good. This is bad.
Yes, Frank Thompson, age 57, has been charged with drug-related crimes and offenses, as well as endangering the welfare of children. Why? Because, well, when you overdose, you tend to die and then leave those children unattended for some time, which is problematic.
I mean, also, don't do drugs with kids,
just generally ever.
I kind of feel like there was this whole push to not have drugs in the schools.
Drug abuse resistance education. I remember that.
Yeah, DARE.
DARE.
Yeah. I feel like he never attended one of those guys.
He didn't.
Gosh darn it, Frank. We had that workshop. Yeah. What are you doing?
Yes. So on the morning of November 29th, Roosevelt Intermediate School's resource officer called the police over an unconscious teacher in one of the classrooms. Thompson was unconscious and unresponsive on the classroom floor. Students reportedly found Thompson, and a school nurse was providing treatment to him, which, let's be honest, Tylenol won't help him very much. Sorry, that was my own commentary. But yeah, I mean, first off, that's traumatic. That's traumatic for little kids to see their teacher, who's a trusted resource, passed out and unresponsive on the ground.
Not to mention that there was the investigation uncovered, quote, suspected controlled dangerous substance and various items of drug paraphernalia. And they were discovered inside a closet within the classroom. I thought schools were, what do they call them? drug-free zones.
Ah, yeah.
Unless you're an educator. Is that like the subtext that I can't see because I'm driving by the sign too fast?
Yeah,
Like, is there a little asterisk that goes down at the bottom unless you're an educator?
Okay for teachers.
But now what we're probably spouting off is disinformation that should be reported to the new disinformation board for schools.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess check your teachers for fentanyl, because that's what Mr. Thompson had. And really, it's sad and tragic. Nobody wants to make light of somebody's drug addiction because it is serious and obviously life threatening.
No, it's just the education system that's a joke.
Yes,
And
that would be a joke.
You know what? While we're not on the subject, the fentanyl the fentanyl overdoses that are happening are not because people are just like, I would like to take fentanyl now. They're because they're putting fentanyl in all of the illegal drugs coming over our border. They're taking fentanyl and cutting it in. You know why? Because it makes those drugs more potent. It causes the highs and the lows to be more abrupt and causes more addiction. And it is a very real problem that this administration is literally doing nothing about.
Yep. This was a really interesting statistic that didn't have to do with this story in terms of the teacher itself, but it says that last month, the DEA says last month that it seized more than 50.6 million fentanyl pills and over 10,000 pounds of powdered fentanyl, which would be enough to kill every single American.
Yeah, all Americans. Fentanyl is incredibly powerful. It's incredibly powerful. Yes,
It's
all,
like-
all Americans. Oh, by the way, that was during the month of December, so Merry Christmas.
It's like Thanos with the gauntlet.
Yeah, it's one snap of their finger and those drugs will kill you.
Yes.
We should be aware of these things. We should be talking about these things. You cannot let these things go by. These things are pervasive cultural totems that must be spoken on. Well, if that wasn't enough about education, maybe this will be enough. This article appeared in The Atlantic, and the title is Defying Parents the Only Ethical Alternative? That's the title. Is defying parents the only ethical alternative?
You know what, Justin? I think that we should probably just pause for a second, because if we're asking the question if it's the only ethical alternative, we have to then assume that they think that defying parents is an ethical alternative.
Is even an option in the subset of ethical alternatives, or just ethical options?
Oh my gosh!
The answer is no. No, and this story comes out of the education journal called Young Children's, which, by the way, is a horrible name for any journal. It's Young Children's what? Young Children's what? All right, so ignoring the horrible grammar in the title of this education journal, they had a study on focusing on ethics. They did a 2019 case study on a preschooler. This preschooler was Michael. He was a boy. And
Boys are boys from the beginning.
at school, he would wear a skirt.
Oh.
He would come in normal clothes, and then he would go and dress up and put on a skirt. And the problem actually happened when Michael's mother was helping out in the classroom one day, and he was putting on that skirt, and she told him to take the skirt off, and she encouraged him to put on firefighter gear or a cowboy hat or something that boys might do, which seems appropriate. I think that was probably wise parenting.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, because I don't know about you, Dizzy. I've found that most 4-year-olds don't make the best choices, generally speaking. Yeah?
Generally.
Generally speaking. Yeah, like their choice on bedtime is
Never.
death. That's their choice on
I will
bedtime.
sleep when I am dead.
When I am dead. Right?
Right after I jump off of this cliff.
Yes, their choice for dessert is also death. their choice for outerwear in the winter is also death. All of these things are their choices. They end in death. But this became a problem because at school, Michael likes to always play dress up and have tea parties and plays with the girls. And so now we have the educator who's now the child himself decides he wants to be called Michelle. He wants to be a girl. The educator, Anna, in this story, is basically questioning what is ethical for her to do. So seems to have explicit instructions from the parents who said, please don't encourage my 4-year-old son's fantasy. Please encourage my 4-year-old son to come into conformity with what his body is, which seems reasonable enough as a parental request for their, again, 4-year-old. However, the teacher, Anna, is deeply conflicted, and she feels she should defer to the child. This was also the stance, you will not be surprised to hear, of young children's education journals. Yes, that's correct. Their stance in the
Written
young
by
children's,
children for children.
yeah, the educator's journal, Young Children's, believes that they should conform to whatever the student wants, whatever the student says. This is completely outside and in contradiction to what the parents have expressly requested that the educator do.
It's absolute insanity.
We live in the upside down. I really mean it. Like, I feel like this world is just decaying. It's the upside down from Stranger Things. It's all black and there's ash everywhere and there's giant monsters that just want to eat you. It's pretty much where we live. Wake up every day and that's where we are. The answer to what this journal is purporting, and please, I would encourage you to read the article for yourself, in case you feel that we are underselling or overselling or we're in some way wrong. The article is long and it mentions much of what the young children's ethics case studies say and what they've determined them to be. They have outlined a code of conduct that can be adopted. Now, they believe their code of conduct to be in some way a middle ground, but it's not. It's just affirmation care. It's literally the educator is to defer in all cases to what the child decrees from on high. The child is the one who determines all things.
Yes. The young children authors recommend that the 4-year-old who identifies as a girl likes to wear skirts and prefer the name Michelle to Michael. The authors offer this advice to the teacher: reject the mother's request to prevent her child from dressing up in female clothing and start using the child's desired name instead of the name the parents gave the child. This is a 4-year-old child, and that is grooming. That is sexual abuse for the child to help them think that they are something that they're not.
Yes. So here's how the young children specifically told in this case study how they told Anna to resolve this conflict between Michael, the 4-year-old, and their parents wishes. The authors here in this particular study in young children, Feeney and Freeman and Schaefer, gave this advice, and I'm going to read directly from these words. These are the words that they say. Reject the mother's request to prevent her child from dressing up in female clothing and start using the child's desired name instead of the name the parents gave the child.
You know, I just read that right.
Did you read that exact words?
Yes. Yeah, same.
We're on the same page. Wow. Did I just totally not? In case you didn't get it the first.
Just to really punch, to really punch it home.
I should go to bed. What's wrong with me? Jesse, I'm so glad you read that because I found it to be such a compelling.
It was very poignant.
What a moron.
After contemplating Anna's situation, they conclude that she has an ethical responsibility to respect the 4-year-old's gender self-determination. A 4-year-old can't self-determine anything.
Like, when you just hear that sentence, it's a complete insanity. Just that sentence alone. There's like multiple instances of delusion in that sentence. That deferring to the parents cannot be morally justified. Except that all you're doing is asserting your parental rights into the equation. But you have none. You don't have any. You're not a parent. That's not your child.
The authors say that 2 groups of educators that discuss the situation could not justify forbidding a child to behave in ways that express her strongly held sense of self, and that therefore they could not comply with this family's request.
This is expressly what Dewey wanted for the public education system, that the children would belong to the state. It's what Marx wanted for public education. The children must belong to the state. That's what this is. This is just a continuation of the previous story from the beginning, that only the educators can decide what is mis or dis or information. They will tell you what to think. 2 + 2 = whatever your teacher says it does. And if they choose for it to mean whatever you think it means, then 2 + 2 can be purple. And whatever you say it is, little Timmy. I'm sorry, Tina? Tommy.
What is your... Instead of asking people what pronouns they are every day, they're just going to start asking people what their name is and what their pronouns are, because people are just going to be changing stuff up like it's some type of online account that they can just change their name on.
What's your username today, random human? My username is ScatCat72.
Meow.
I really hope this school has a litter box, or else you're going to have a lot of messes to clean up.
Oh my gosh, I'm just going to leave it there.
Which is yet another problem. Yet another problem in our education system that we do not have time to go into. Finally, we'll conclude with this. This one, I think, is a story that highlights probably the big takeaway here, which is that the problem is parents. Dear heavens, if you have friends that are parents, love them enough to tell them to be engaged with their children. That's the takeaway. Parents, it is our primary responsibility to educate, care, and provide for our children. That's one of our primary responsibilities. It's the primary responsibility as a parent. If we don't take that very seriously, then do not be surprised when you have stories like this one coming out of Washington State. The title, this appeared in ProPublica, and the title is At Washington State Special Education Schools.
You don't say it ProPublica?
No, because they're a
Publica.
Just leave me alone. That's it. I'm going to bed. I'm out of here. No, you do it yourself.
All right, I'm going to do the rest like Trump.
No, we're not doing that. No. At Washington State Special Education Schools, years of abuse complaints and lack of academics. Oh, yeah, it's really not good. Now, we have a good friend, Amy, who is involved in special education and has been for a long time. And so these stories were not the circumstances in these stories were not necessarily new to me conceptually, but they're very bad. Basically, what you have is a system in Washington State where there's been reported instances of abuse at the school known as Northwest Soil, capital SOIL, Northwest Soil. This school, which has many different campuses, is primarily focused on handling helping students that have severe disabilities. But reports have come out of instances where children have been left all day in padded rooms, where one student had a foot placed on them and was kicked. Obviously, you're not getting two sides of these stories. Not that there's ever an excuse to put your foot on a child, because there's not really there's not a lot of, not looking for a looking for a loophole here. Just can't find one. What we have is public funding, public dollars going to Northwest Soil and other special education schools. And this is the public education system in Washington State outsourcing the most severe cases of special needs and disabilities to these schools. That is because the schools themselves do not feel and do not want to take responsibility for them. So they divert funding dollars to these schools, and we're talking to the tunes of hundreds of millions of dollars to these schools, and they pass off the most severe and hardest cases to the schools. And then we're somehow surprised when it turns out that the schools have done things that are abusive to the children, because you've put all of the worst children in places where there still isn't enough funding to possibly pay a 1-to-1 ratio, which is what no public school offers. In fact, one of the only environments you find that in is the home. So the biggest takeaway here is that what we should be surprised at is that all the parents are outraged. But why? Why are the parents outraged? What did you expect was going to happen when you work and therefore can't take take care of your child, and then instead of having any sort of support structure or community in which you try to care for your child with, like a family, a church organization, you pass them off to the public education system, which can barely educate children how to do math and read, right? The only thing they're truly good at is causing dissension between families. And you're surprised when it turns out that they are abusive towards children. I don't understand what did you think exactly was going to happen?
I thought that would be the thing that would happen.
Right. This should be this should be the base expectation, if nothing else. It's ludicrous. It is literally ludicrous to think somehow you're going to have an education system that has literally had money dumped so much. The answer cannot possibly be more money. We put more money into education than anywhere else. Anywhere. And with the more money we dump into schools, you go into the inner city where they get some of the largest education grants and dollars, and the education standards have not gone up. They go down. My children, the teachers at my children's Christian school receive a fraction of what public educators receive in salary. And yet my children are learning far more than they learned in public education. How is that possible? What's the disconnect? It can't be that throwing more dollars means education standards rise, because we've been doing that for 60 years. And it's not. And now look at the metrics. How globally are we competing more, or are we competing less? Oh my goodness, it's mind-boggling.
It's bad. And then I didn't put this on the document, but Morning Wire just covered recently some studies comparing homeschool kids, and that's just generally. It's not like a specific kind of homeschool kid. To public school kids on like a bunch of different standardized tests, and the homeschool group actually outperforms the public school group in almost every single area, like on every test.
Now, to be fair, it is completely voluntary for homeschool children to take these tests, and therefore you usually don't send a poor performing homeschool student to take a certain standardized test if you would like to see how they're doing.
Taking standardized tests is not required in the public education system either. You're not required to take an SAT. Everyone just does it.
But doesn't that just...
Nope.
When you say that, it kind of counteracts... It literally contradicts it. Just,
no.
Everybody just does it.
Yeah, they just do it. They don't have to do it.
But if everybody... No, I just don't know if you're hearing what you're saying. If everybody does it, then everybody's doing it. But since we homeschool...
No. I said,
it's totally different
than
in the public school.
I simply said that it's not required.
But everybody does it.
Either.
Right, but everybody does it.
You know what, Kermit? I don't really like
I'm just saying. Just bring out the logic, that's all. No, Trump. No. This is not how this is going to go.
You know what logic I don't understand? Why am I being investigated for my classified documents that I declassified?
I don't want to talk about this. This is not the point. But
for
for
some
here is
reason,
education and the fact that public
the
education
FBI
is
is
crap.
not involved in anything that went on in the Delaware Corvette scandal.
How can they this guy's got documents everywhere.
You could see him in the video.
Finding documents. I mean, there's a comedy from, I believe it's early 2000s called My Fellow Americans, and it's with two older comedians. You had James Gardner and Jack Lemmon, and in it they play. One is the former president from the opposing party, and one is the current president from the opposing party. So they're from different parties, and they get like left somewhere together. And then there's this whole like buddy comedy thing where they hate each other because they've battled each other on the campaign trail. But then they have some fun and they develop a friendship, and it's relatively cute and funny. And they're older comedians, so there's some funny parts. But I mean, like, at some point, it's got to be, is that just who Trump is? that just Trump and Biden are they just like buddy comedy right now? Like, like, don't worry, I've got documents too. It's okay. You've got documents. I've got documents. Everybody's got documents.
Oh man, yeah. One take was like, oh, are they going to is this how they're going to get Biden out of office? Because he's obviously, I mean, just his brain is just absolute trash. I mean, compared to the average functioning brain, which is no fault of his own, but it is fault of everyone. First off, that voted for him, and second off, that campaigned him. But yeah, so I mean, like, they're like, oh, is this the thing? But then I'm like, no, it's not the thing. They've been covering for this man for years. Nobody cares whether he could speak or whether he could ride a bike or whether he could eat ice cream or whether he could.
Did you hear him sing "Happy Birthday" the other day?
Yes.
Happy birthday, dear. Happy birthday. Oh, come on, dude.
It's so bad.
It would have been better for you to just say the wrong name than to do that.
And the vice president doesn't have declassification power, so he can't even make it up that he declassified
Yeah,
like
look,
Trump
this,
did.
This has gone off the rails, and this is your fault fully.
But this is why we need good education, so that we can critically think about these things.
That was a really poor segue back into the topic. All the links are going to be available for you to actually read these.
Yes,
You do not have to
ProPublica.
You do not have to take our word for it. These are in black and white for you to read. Again, in New Jersey, please consider ways in which to educate your child. We've gone. You can go back and listen to the first 3 episodes. We covered education on all of them. We talked about the differences in the different options outside of public education. All of them will require sacrifice. If you're going to homeschool your child, it's going to require sacrifice of time. If you're going to do a hybrid school, then there's going to be some time and some finances. If it's going to be a Christian education at a Christian school, then it's going to require more finances. But all of these things require different sacrifices. The question is, how much sacrifice is too much to actually make sure your child is not being placed in a situation where, if they espouse the fact that Jesus is the savior of people from their sins, they won't be reported to Homeland Security.
Or in a situation where they're going to be groomed, exposed to overdoses, or abused.
Yeah. Yep. That's what all these stories say. Like, it's just what they say.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, we've also done an interview with Robert Bortons, for the CEO of Classical Conversations, which is a classical Christian homeschooling community as well. You want to check that one out too, along with our older episodes.
And boy, we're anytime we're running into issues, we're really going to try to work on getting those remastered too, so that when you go back to listening to them, they sound much more like our more recent remastered episode, which does sound a lot better. I actually listened to them back to back, and I'm like,
nice.
I'm like, yeah, nope, it does sound a lot clearer.
Good. Thanks, Jaeger. Thanks,
yes.
buddy.
So, I can assure you, as Jaeger's skills only grow and develop, they will only become more and more clear. So
he is blossoming into a beautiful young audio producer, and we're here for it.
Yes, we can say. We'll once be able to say, we knew that guy.
We knew that guy. We knew that Jaeger.
Yep. I can't wait till we make like a cool education T-shirt.
Man, that should definitely be something we do soon.
Yeah. There's plans. There's plans.
We have plans. But also, check out the Fide Fellowship. FideFellowship.com. You can see everybody who's part of our little network here. It's us. It's Dan Sams. It's Dave Hansen and Devin Davis and John Cooper with Godly Grunts. Just go on FideFellowship.com. Please.
Yes.
Also, I made the website. Let me know how you think it looks.
Yeah, the website looks really, really slick and clean.
I mean, I was telling our audience to.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just encouraging that it's really slick and clean. Okay. Go check out how slick and clean it is. Also, follow Fide Fellowship on the gram, and are we everywhere?
Just the gram.
We're just on the gram for now. So follow us on the gram. We're starting slow because well, you know what, we do work full-time jobs and everything else. So we're working on it. We're working on it here. Look, at least we're not cutting in the middle of here with some sort of crazy ad for a sofa or buying gold. I mean,
buy these Christian books on logos.com.
Go to the Gospel Coalition. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
Nay, they would never advertise on here. Well, that's the episode for today. Please go back into the show notes. Definitely click on these articles. You will be like, oh no, they weren't lying. This is really bad. And if we could encourage you through this, very much, dear Christian, that every day you need to seize the faith.
And I like your ins and outsides. Everybody's fancy, everybody's fine. Your body's fancy, and so is mine.